Well, I thought New Mexico came out and really, really got after us and kind of sped us up in the first half. And, we had some uncharacteristic turnovers but credit them. They were, they can turn you over. They weren't doing it in the full court, but they were doing it, trapping us and then really aggressive on the ball. And I thought they kind of set a good tone, and we were kind of a little slow to respond. But in the old days of this tournament, in other years, the teams that were playing on the first day were not NCAA tournament teams. So now you've got NCAA tournament teams. Now they got a game under their belt. I mean, we all know how good this league is, and I mean that's an advantage nobody wants to have. You don't want to have to play for it, but the team that they played great yesterday, and they carried it over into today, and they have good momentum. We looked like a team that kind of was a little slow to get going, and not because maybe of us. I think our guys were ready. It's just I think they really came in, and they were carried over from yesterday, and they were firing on all cylinders. I mean, we have a lot of great teams in this league, and a lot of I think we secured 6 bids now, and you take UNLV's first 4 weeks of the season out, and really that's 7 NCAA tournament level teams that are in this league, and because UNLV had been playing as good as anyone, and so. But give New Mexico a ton of credit that was a team on a mission, and they got veteran guards that were on a mission, and I saw that tonight. And I said that to one of my guys today. I'm pretty sure Jalen's not going to miss shots tonight, and he was great. He was taking it to the hole, and it's not like it's a surprise or they sneak attack you. It's just one of those things. It's easier said than done to keep those guys from getting to the hoop, and then also they took some of our misses that we had a couple late when we were making a good run. They just kind of rattled in and rattled out, and then they go down and get a lay-in at the other end, the big, huge 5-point swings that we needed those to drop. But again, like I said, we battled back the second half, and I really like the way we competed. And I got a team that always responds in the greatest way, and we get another chance to respond next week.
I was talking with Max about it is not too often that you guys have been able to sit here, after a loss to the Mountain West tournament and still feel pretty good about going into Selection Sunday. How do you feel about going into Selection Sunday with the body of work you've done?
I think it's beyond pretty good. It's terrific. And, this was the best the league's ever been, and we finished second. A game, a free throw here or there out of first. I mean, really, when you think about it. But so terrific. And, the chair of the committee, the thing that jumps out at me, he said, we're going to reward teams that went out and scheduled, check, which we did, and then won games away from their home, which, we got some high-quality wins, especially in the league. So you couldn't ask for, I think we're being undervalued by some people. We'll see what the committee does, but we got a really, really good resume when you look at who we played, and night in, night out. It was pretty impressive. We, played NCAA tournament teams all over this schedule, and we beat a lot of good ones. So, you look at the amount of quad one wins we have, really no bad losses. I mean, not much more you could do, really. I mean, obviously, you win every game. There's a lot more you can do, but really, our guys are juiced up about it. We're ready to go. I mean, you got to just shake this off and move on. When you're in a great league, it's the team that plays the best that wins, and that's what happened tonight. They played great.
You've been so adamant about how you want to continue to grow this program.
Mm-hmm.
I remember days where it felt like your family was basically the only people that traveled to Las Vegas,
True.
and now you look up there and there's you know, you get a nice following. On that note, too, you look over at New Mexico and what they bring here. It almost felt like it was a semi-home game for them tonight. What do you think of their support? And as you guys could grow, what do you think of your support?
But you're right. You know, what a great atmosphere for a late game, and you know, our fans are more and more coming, and you know, you're just building it brick by brick and getting more and more interest. Wish we could have kept them around for a little longer. But yeah, it did. It felt like a road game tonight, no doubt. The New Mexico fans showed up, and they always have. I mean, I don't remember very many times when they didn't in my 14 years here, or 13 years in this league. And but, you know, it was a great Mountain West crowd and good atmosphere for a tournament game. And you know, I'm so grateful to the fans that did come. And, you know, sorry we couldn't keep them around for tomorrow's game, too. But
Leon, they had a 40-20 edge on points in the paint, and you know, I think in the first half you guys only had 3 field goals that weren't threes, and you took 34 threes tonight, and they, you know, their dribble penetration was hurting you too. I mean, just how do you look at that give and take? I guess were you know, having tough on the inside, and they were having some success in there.
Yeah, and that's where we've had a bit of an advantage. But you know, it's one of those things. Guarding them is easier said than done. You know what they're going to do, but you know, they finished. I mean, Donovan Dent, man, he finished as good as any guard in the country when he gets in there. And, you know, there's a couple times where we bodied him up pretty good and seemed like we contested it pretty good, and he still finished it. And so, again, hats off to those guys. It was, you know, he had 22 points off 9 shots. That's pretty darn efficient, and made good decisions all night, handled the ball, that kind of stuff. So, like I said, just tip of a cap to those guys, and you know, it's going to be interesting the rest of the way in this tournament. See what happens.
Leon, it felt like the looks were there. I mean, Max had an in and out that I think makes it a 1-possession game there. Roddy was getting to the basket at will, but was having a hard time finishing. It just felt like there was a lot of bunnies that were missed tonight. Was there a common denominator with it, or is that just how it goes sometimes?
That's just, you know, and that was more in the second. You know, Roddy got to the paint pretty good in the first half and didn't finish any of them. Second half, he did a better job of getting in there and mixing up, finish some, kick some. You know, we just settled down a little bit and got better. But it was a big play. Max had a 3, and it looked like it was in, and it rattled around, and then it rolled around, came off, and then they laid it in. It was a 5-point swing that would have cut it to 3. And that's, you know, if that goes, who knows? But that's basketball.
Right here. Coach, so the team only shot 29% tonight, 29.4, but you guys were still able to scrape together 66 points, and it was only a 10-point loss against New Mexico. Played fantastic tonight. So what can you say about how your team
we compete and we battle, and if we didn't do that, you could have got blown out with all those. Look at those numbers, no doubt. And it was a 4-point game with 30 seconds to go. You know that after all that, it was a 4-point game with 30 seconds to go. Our guys never quit, and they battle, and they don't. I've had, we've all seen teams that when the ball just won't go, and it just affects everything. And our team is pretty good about keep fighting, and we got 18 offensive rebounds and kept fighting there, and kind of flipped the boards a little bit in the second half. But they knew that they had to control that or be close even with us to win that game, and they battled on the glass too. So just a good college basketball battle.
Leon, kind of the same question I asked Max. When you're able to shut down House, a score like House for 2 games, how hard is it? You know he's going to be motivated coming into the third game. How hard is it to do it a third time?
Yeah, I felt that today. I just okay, he's not going to. We're not counting on him missing tonight. And these veteran guards, he knew that it's win or go home in both tournaments. Really, probably is where they. Who knows? But that's how they approached it. And when you have veteran guards that are playing for their lives, that's what he looked like tonight. So, and all of them, they were clutch down the. They made their free throws down the stretch when we were fouling. They did what they had to do to win.
And then just kind of depending on if you get if you get a Thursday slot, Friday slot. It's going to be one game in 13 or 14 days you guys have played. Do you kind of embrace that rest, or do you kind of worry about rust? Or
Say that again.
depending on if you're playing in Thursday or Friday, it'll be one game you guys have played in the previous 13 or 14.
Oh, this time of year, any day that you can get any rest is a blessing. It's a blessing because it's a long grind of the season, and we'll come in fresh, excited. I mean, it's the NCAA tournament. It's the greatest sporting event there is, and there won't be. Yeah, now we'll play a great team because they did something to get there too. So, but we'll be excited, ready to go, and there will, that's how it is in that tournament.
Last two questions.
You already alluded to Donovan a little bit, but I wanted to go more into Donovan Dent. 22 points. He drew 8 fouls. He had 5 steals on the defensive end.
Yeah.
His kind of complete package has grown so much this year, even though he's playing with Mash and House and 2 guards kind of in his same spot. Can you talk about the growth you've seen as an opposing coach over the last 2 years in Donovan?
Oh, yeah, and we knew that was coming, But it is hard, that's a hard – because you got 3 guys that need the ball in their hands. And so credit Coach Patino and his staff for figuring that out. That's a hard thing to figure out, and it's a hard thing to get those guys because they all, when you have 3 guys like that their strengths are pretty similar, it can affect, because one guy's doing it and then the next guy, well, I got to go do it too, and it can have a negative effect because they all can do that, and they've settled in nicely and they've figured out roles nicely and how they can all coexist effectively, and that's what it looked like tonight. I think it's the accumulation of a season of learning and growing and learning and growing, and they're settled into something that looks pretty good right now.
Real quick, I know you already kind of alluded to that you think they're getting in now, and they thought their win tonight probably gets them in.
Yeah.
Assuming they're in, what kind of a matchup problem? I know you don't know who they're going to play, but what kind of a matchup problem does a team like New Mexico present, just in general?
Yeah, it's so many good guards, and so, we keep talking about the guards. Those big guys are terrific too, and they're like I said, like Max said it, they're one of the most talented teams in our league, and that's saying something. And when they're clicking, like I said, when they were 18-3, when we went down there, they were clicking. But like every team, you go through a valley of death, and you go through but I don't envy the team that they draw. Good luck.
Last question.
Leon, I think if we learned anything through the Mountain West this year, night in, night out, it seems like the tougher team wins. It's not to say that a team's not tough on any given night, but as you go into the NCAA tournament with your past experiences, have you ever been this prepared from an opponent's strength of schedule wise to face what you will at the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, but it's NCAA tournament so much about matchups too. So that can you look at some of the past ones, and I've been to I think it's 16. I'm not sure, but the matchups were everything. I've had good ones, I've had bad ones, I've had over the course of my whole career, and you just don't know, and you just don't know what breaks you're going to get, what matchups you're going to get, and that's for everybody, not just us. But if you can keep going back enough times, pretty soon you're going to break through, and that's you just got to put yourself in that position where you can keep going back, keep having a chance, and then maybe you get the right matchup that fits, and just fits your style, that kind of thing. Like an example, what I'm talking about is one year at Gonzaga, we were the #1 rebounding team in the country, and we ended up playing the #2 rebounding team, Wyoming, down at the Pit. And that kind of canceled out our strength. Had we played a team that wasn't a great rebounding team like we were, we might have had a big advantage. But the rebounds were even, and it canceled out. So that's what I mean by the style and the. So you can't control that. You just, just see where it falls, and then you just got to go out and play. And then the other thing, you got to be able to. You can't go shoot 29% and get it done. You got to make some shots. It is a game of making shots. Even it's hard, but that's the thing that we've done a nice job of. Is our guys compete and compete and compete. We shot 29%. We were down 4 with 30 seconds to go. But you got to make some shots to beat good teams.
You always say, when there's 4 home games left, you remind Bronco Nation, hey, there's only 4 home games to see these guys. You guys are down to 1 guaranteed, game left. So how does the message evolve, I guess, as you guys are literally playing for tomorrow from here on out?
Yeah, and that's, like when Max said that, it hits you because we've enjoyed each other. Our guys, this has been, every team's been great for their own reasons and, enjoyed coaching. This team, I've never had a group where the 30 of us just have such a good time together, working, grinding, competing. It's just been a joy. And, it started back in our trip to Canada. So it's a long, long journey, but we've really kept good perspective too. We've stayed in the moment. So these guys, they don't want it to end, and they'll do anything not to have it end, and that's what we get the opportunity to do. And when you get to this tournament, you're going to play somebody really good. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. And so we're going to have to play a great game, but these guys are not going to want it to end because none of us, there's some teams out there that they're done, they're tired of the whole thing, and that's hard, because it's such a long season. But not this team with us. We're going to fight and scratch and claw to keep it going.
Okay, thank you for your time, Coach.
Thank you, guys.